So as he taps me on the shoulder, I grab the money out of the ATM slot, I slide it in my shorts pocket, and I turn around. I'm like, hey, what's going on? And he goes, "Tu tienes drogas?" I look around and laugh. He says it again, "Tu tienes drogas?" Now, tú conoces yo hablar español. Yo hablo español. So I'm like, why would I have drugs? In my head, it's in my head. I said no. But in my head, I'm looking like, why would I have drugs on me when I got two twins right next to me? Good morning, world. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy FRE, $H Fresh at the Flyboy Way, all platforms. And we are downtown Playa del Carmen on 5th Avenue. And I figured, why not give you guys a story time? Alright, so as y'all know, I travel around the world and I run across a lot of different people. I get to interact with a lot of different women, and sometimes things happen good and sometimes things don't go the way I wanted to go. But this particular day, things went a little bit different. So let me tell you where we was at. We was at Playa del Carmen, and it was, I believe, a Saturday. No, it was a Friday night, actually. It was a Friday night in Playa del Carmen. And we went to this place called La Vaquita. And what La Vaquita is like the little cow. In English, it means the little cow. And it's a big space at the end of 10th Street in Playa del Carmen. So we're down there. It's me, DJ Chisel, Big Boss. And we're sitting there popping bottles. We got 2 bottles of some rock. I'll probably put the thing here so you guys can see it. It's crazy. I mean, we in the center of the club. We got a whole section, and we turned up, man. We turned up. But when we was in there, we met these two women from Brazil. Now, these 2 women from Brazil was cool. One was real thick, and one was a little bit slimmer, but had the thickness to it. And it was cool. We was kicking it with them. We poured them drinks. We poured some drinks to somebody else. I gave a rose to a nice woman. It was so dope. It was a dope atmosphere. It was a vibe. And I said, yo, we should hang out afterwards. I mean, we should go in and get some food, because the clubs close at 2 o'clock in Playa del Carmen. There's some kind of curfew at 3 o'clock, so the clubs close at 2 o'clock. It was like, all right, let's go walk and get some food. As we're walking to get some food, we realized that there's not a lot of places that sell chicken. So we're walking for a long time. In this course of this walking, Big Boss decides, you know what? I'm going to go back to my Airbnb and you guys hang out. Because I guess he seen it was three guys and 2 women. He took it, you know, he took one for the team. So as the Big Boss goes back and we get to conversating with the women, I start to get the vibe that she really likes me, but she's not letting me go past go. So I asked her, so are you married? Why is a beautiful woman like you with a career not married? You know what she says? Well, I'm not married, but I have a boyfriend. And I'm like, we done pop bottles with these women. We done had a long walk, like they was walking out the club. So everything had me under the impression that she was single, but she wasn't. But you know, sometimes it doesn't work. So we were still cool. We sat and talked a little bit. Y'all see that footage a little bit in the vlogs and stuff. But and then eventually they had to go to their hotel, and we decided to go back to our Airbnb. Now their hotel was one way, and our Airbnb was a whole different way. So me and DJ Chisel said bye, and we started walking back. As we're walking to our Airbnb, we're starting to see the crowd like get less dense. Now the crowd was originally just all people, guys and girls. But as we get closer to our Airbnb around 5th Avenue, we start to realize that there's more pockets of women in little areas of the street than just men or people in general. It kind of resembled like Parque Yeres or you know, or the clock tower. And I'm like, nah, what's the odds? So as I get closer, I start hearing the cat calls. Hey, Poppy. Hey, Poppy. And I'm like, oh, wow. It is the same thing. So I'm like, all right, it's a bunch of pros here. It's gonna go down. And as you guys know, if you watched the live video, I had already got a massage earlier, so I wasn't really in the mood to try to, like, you know, get into anything. I'm like, all right, cool. So as I look to my right, I see this bad Venezuelan woman. Now, I did not know she was Venezuelan, but she was bad. I mean, and she was with a friend. But the difference was she was hanging on a swing at one of the bars with her friend, but all of the pros were on the street. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, she's not a pro, but I'm looking at her smiling, and she's looking at me smiling. So as I'm walking, I hear her say, hey, Poppy, and it was just like this. I was walking like this, right? She said, hey, Poppy, and I just turned back around and said, hey, because I know that's a call, and I know what it means. So we sitting there, we're talking, right? And she goes, I was like, so what you want? What you want to hang out? She's like, yo quiero 200 USD. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Now, she was bad as hell. She would have got it anyway. I understand we're in a tourist area. This is not Brazil. This is not Colombia. This is Playa de Carmen. I understand. And she was going to get it anyway.
Excuse me, can you be quiet, please?
But I like to negotiate. So what I did was I decided to say, hey, you know what? What's the best negotiation you can do? And she goes, 150. I'm like, let's go. Let's have a good time. Let's go. So we start walking down the street. So now it's me, her, and DJ Chisel. So me, her, and DJ Chisel walking down the street. And of course I'm filming. We're talking. We're having a great time. And she's like, oh, you gotta, pay first. And I'm like, okay, I understand. So I gotta go to the ATM. And I don't like the fact that I had to use my credit card because credit card charges interest, and the interest is high. But I'm gonna pay it back anyway, so it don't really matter. Plus, YouTube will pay for it. So I'm driving down the street. So we walking down the street, and finally we get to the Airbnb. Chisel goes up, and we go up after Chisel, because Chisel was drunk. Like I said, we had popped 2 bottles of Ciroc already. You know I don't drink that much. And our Big Boss, I don't know how much he drunk, but Big Boss was kind of drunk too, and Chisel was drunk. So he went upstairs, and I'm walking with the woman. And she's just talking, we talking in the elevator. She's like, oh, I just was talking to my sister, mi hermana, mi identical hermana. But I thought she said hermano. So I'm like, oh, your brother? Oh, you got an identical brother? Y'all like twins and stuff? She's like, no, mi hermana. I'm like, oh, that's dope. So I'm like, in my head, I'm like, all right, nah. So she's like, you want to see her? I'm like, yeah, sure. So she calls her sister on the video chat, right? The video chat picks up. Her sister ain't got no shirt on, breasts all out, and she's waving to me. Hi. So in my head, I'm like, I got to make an opportunity. I got to do something. And you know what happens? I go, hey, can she come over here right now? Because originally I was going to ask for the next day, but I was like, nah, I know it. I know if I try to set this up for tomorrow, this is going to go bad. So she said, yeah. I was like, Yo, I was trying to keep so cool, because I understand that you got to keep your cool. Because if you don't keep your cool, the numbers go up, and they may not want to do anything at all. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm keeping my cool. I'm like, cool, she gonna come over? So we should get inside, and I was sweating because we was walking on Playa de Carmen for a long time. And she goes, yeah, you're kind of sweaty. Go take a shower. And I'm like, all right, cool, but you stay in the living room. I'm gonna take a shower and call your sister and have her come take a taxi over here. She's like, sure. So I'm like, all right. Now, mind you, I've only took 200 out of the ATM because it was only 150. So I get in the shower, I can take a little quick 5-minute shower, dry off, boom, and come back out there. And she's like, yeah, my sister's still on her way. And so I'm like, all right, cool. That's when she was like, hold on one second, I'll be right back, right? She's in the living room, everything's everything, right? So I come out the living room, and she's like, oh, my sister's on her way. But I'm like, oh my God, we gotta go back to the ATM because I only got $200. And basically we agreed with it was going to be 150 and 150. Because originally it was supposed to be just 150, but 150, $300. Come on, man. I know you guys are like, oh my God, why are you paying that much? You should be paying less, yada, yada, yada. But when are you ever in your life going to get a chance to meet 2 identical twins that want to hang out? We saying hang out, but you know what I'm talking about. Come on. So I'm like, all right, cool. So we start going to the ATM. Now, mind you, I don't know where the ATM is at, but we just so happen to be walking down, and 2 doors down from my Airbnb building is a ATM. Now, we're at the ATM, and her sister like pulls up in the cab. So her sister's walking this way, the other sister is right here, and I'm at the ATM taking out the money, right? So as I put the card in, take the card out, put the card back in my pocket, and I'm putting the thing in, right? Looking at the thing, I hear like some screeching tires, not like a real strong screeching, but like, and I kind of look and I see like a flashing light, and I'm like, oh my goodness, what is going on here? But I'm still worried because I got the money thing going. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, so 500 out, and it start coming down to 20s. As it's coming down to 20s, right? It's like, because you know the sound it makes on the ATM money machine, and 500 takes a long time to come out in 20s. So as it's coming out in 20s, I look back again, and the police officer in the truck is stepping out his vehicle, and I'm like, what the, oh man. Now for those that don't know, there are some countries that if you are out at late night by yourself and you have money, a police officer might meet you and you might lose your money. Or they might ask for some propane. I'm not saying it's all countries. It's not third world countries. It's not first. It's just, that's the way it is sometimes, right? Excuse the the helicopter in the background. I'm like, oh man, they got me here with the money in hand, holding this, and he taps me on the shoulder. So as he taps me on the shoulder, I grab the money out of the ATM slot, I slide it in my shorts pocket, and I turn around. I'm like, hey, what's going on? And he goes, ¿Tú tienes drogas? I'm looking around and laugh. He says it again, ¿Tú tienes drogas? Now, tú conoces yo hablar español. Yo hablo español. So I'm like, why would I have drugs? In my head, this is my head, I said no. But in my head, I'm looking like, why would I have drugs on me when I got two twins right next to me? Explain how that makes sense. And he goes, we need to check your pockets. I'm gonna say it in English, but he said it in Spanish, but I understood up to a point. Now let me tell you this, because I understand conversational Spanish because the words are usually the same, right? I can go and speak to him. I can understand when he's talking to his partner, but the issue is whenever you deal with police, yo, bring out the translator. No. Bring out the translator, because I want to get the words precise, because one wrong word you could be jammed up. So basically, he starts bringing out the translator and starts typing stuff like, oh, we're going to detain you, and where's your ID? And here's the one thing I tell you guys, and this is what kind of saved me also. Make sure you guys don't ever carry your passport when you're riding around, when you're walking around any country. Carry your ID, because if they get your passport, they got you. So I have my ID, I gave him my ID. He said he's looking at the ID. So I'm sitting there still just hanging. So I'm like, all right, maybe they just want a little propane, you know what I mean? So I put some money in my pocket. He goes, what are you doing? No. And I'm like, all right, put the money back in my pocket. And we're sitting there. And then now, mind you, now it's like 20 minutes past. So now it's me, it's the two twins, and it's two cops. And I'm like, oh man. And I'm upset, because here's the thing. At this point, I'm not even worried about getting locked up. I'm not even worried about getting detained. Bro, I am 37 years old. I've been dating since I was 17, so basically 20 years, and I never had a chance to come across two identical twins that was down for the cause. So I'm not letting this go down. Complete the mission is running through my mind. Complete the mission. So I'm quiet, and I'm listening. And he's like, he keeps writing it in many different ways. Oh, we gotta take you back to the station to run your ID. We gotta detain you. And I'm just sitting there like, nah, pero yo vivo aquí, es dos casas allá. I'm only 2 doors down. Like, what are you talking about? And he's like, well, you can't be out at past this time. There's a curfew. I'm like, sí, pero es otras personas aquí. It's other people walking past. So what are you talking about? But I'm calm with it, because I gotta complete the mission. So finally, 5 minutes later, so like it's a 25-minute occurrence. Finally, 5 minutes later, he goes, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna let you go back to your house, but you can't say nothing to these women. You can't talk, don't look at them, don't smile, just go. And you know what I did? Did exactly that. Ladies calling my name, and I was walking. Papi, ¿dónde vas? ¿Dónde vas? I'm walking. The whole time I had a phone number. If they had to leave, I could call them back and catch a cab. I know the long game. Complete the mission. So I get to my Airbnb. I open the gate, and I'm like, security guard. Yo tengo dos amigas. They're coming. Let them in. So I go upstairs. And as I'm at the top of the stairs, I look down and they're like, Papi! Y'all know what's going down next. Y'all know what happened next. They come to the room. I knock on the door. See DJ Chizzle doing. Chizzle, you up? Chizzle dead. Chizzle dead. He's sitting on the edge of the bed, but his head is down. I'm like, Chizzle's out. So the girl's sister goes, oh, take a shower. I'm like, I just took a shower. We're not going through all that. Yeah, it's showtime. It's showtime. She's like, oh, I gotta take a shower. So her sister goes and takes a shower, and we end up going in the room. If I tell a story, I can't show you the video of the women. I felt as though the story would be more important, and that's why we're here telling the story. But, like Future says, man, real sisters. Real sisters. Special boy FRE $H Fresh at the Flyboy Way. That's THEFLYBOYWAY. Don't ask why. Just check out the channel. And this has been a story about how I slept with 2 identical twin sisters and almost got locked up abroad. I hope you enjoyed. Peace. Good morning, world.